Hi everyone, I hope you're all okay and staying safe and well in this absolutely bizarre time. As you're probably all aware, obviously I've closed the shop because we've had to. A lot of our wholesalers have closed as well. So I'm here at home with Blossom, and I thought I'd give a wreath a go today, with some bits that I found. Everything here is found in the garden, and I'm using a wire ring from Christmas. If you haven't got one of these, you could use a coat hanger, a wire coat hanger, and obviously bend it into shape, and obviously you've got your hook at the top as well. And I've got a roll of wire. Obviously I've got lots of these because I'm a florist, but you can use a roll of string as well, if you've got one of them to hand. If not, you can order one of these off eBay or Amazon and obviously get it delivered, I believe. And obviously a decent pair of scissors as well to cut through the woody stems. So we've been for a walk this morning, haven't we? Yeah. Kind of making the most of the sunshine, making the best of a bad situation really. You know, I really feel for a lot of businesses and obviously people, and it's just absolutely crazy. Yeah, but hopefully we'll all get through it and we will see each other on the other side. Obviously we're missing family a lot at the moment as well. Blossom usually goes and stays with my mum and my sister during the week when I work. They're really missing her. Obviously I'm making the most of being able to spend every day with her. We're so lucky to live where we do, in the countryside. We've got a lovely woods behind us where we live, so we've been out walking there every day. So anyway, I will get on with this. So my wreath ring, obviously usually I'd put moss on this as a base, but I don't have any moss with me and I really didn't fancy going in the woods and picking loads. So I've got some trailing ivy, some long bits of ivy that I'm going to wrap around it to use as a bit of a better base, because the stems will just fall all over the place through that. So what I'm going to do is attach my wire to the edge of the ring just by winding it around. So we're on. Then this is my ivy. I've got some nice long trailing bits. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it through the wire. Obviously if you've got a coat frame you'll only have one bit of wire there, but I've got two, so I'm going to wrap it around the outer edge of this ring so it's attached. And then I'm going to just wrap it around this. Isn't going to look perfectly round and I don't want it to. It's going to be basically a natural spring wreath. Obviously you can decorate this afterwards with the children for Easter or something, put some eggs on it or make some paper flowers to put on it or something. Luckily that was long enough to go around my ring, so I'm just going to wire it back round and attach it. It's just given me a little bit of a base to work from. So I don't know what half this stuff is that I've picked. I'm a florist, not a gardener, as I say to people when they come in about plants. But I've picked some dogwood. I've got some dried lavender which I had in the house anyway, and I've picked some dried hydrangeas from the hydrangea bush outside which haven't been deheaded yet, luckily for me. I've got some of that which I picked. It's a little bit prickly, that one, so I've not picked a lot of that. And our blossom tree is just coming out into flower. This isn't going to last long in the wreath, but it's going to make a gorgeous photo, so that's what I've got that for. I've picked some of this, which is just behind me here. I've picked some pussy willow as well off the tree, which is just up on our bank. I had to pull this down from the top because the deer have stripped the bottom of the pussy willow tree, which obviously they're allowed to. There's loads of deer around here. And I've just picked up some twigs that I've just literally got off the woodland bed, which are just, they're dead. but they'll look quite nice and wispy. And then I picked some ivy and a bit of conifer. So that's really what I'm just going to do a crazy mixture of this stuff and make it as big. Obviously not too big because my door's not huge, but so I'm going to start off with a bit of ivy. So obviously that's quite big, so I'm just going to chop it into smaller pieces. Ivy. He's a lot, aren't we? Just going to make a little bunch of it, lay it onto my wreath where my wire is, and wrap it around. Wrap that wire around a couple of times quite tightly, so it's on there. Then I'm going to use a little branch of white stuff that I've got, and I'm just going to lay that down to the side, wrap it round a couple of times. At the moment it just looks like it's sticking out, but at the end of it we just want a nice natural looking wreath. Next I'm going to put another bit of foliage in. So you don't have too much stem at the bottom, just enough to lay on the top. And again, wrap it round with the wire. Each time you lay a piece down, you wrap it round with the wire. And each time I'm laying something on, I'm laying it slightly lower each time. The higher up you bunch it, the thicker your wreath will be. The lower you put it each time, the thinner your wreath will be. Yeah. What should we put in next? Hydrangea? It's nap time soon. I'm going to put a hydrangea in next. Wrap that round and pull it. It's starting to get... Right. I'm going to put a bit of this in next. Again, I'll just pick this from up the bank. I don't know what it is. And again, just have some nice branchy bits coming off. What's the matter? Pretty. I'm going to put another bit of ivy in. I'm using this ivy as like my base for the wreath. Nice bits like that. I'm tired. So again, put it on top of the wreath and wrap that wire around. I've got some nice little bits just poking off at the moment. I'm going to put another bit of the white one in, and each time I'm placing it just so it sticks outwards from the wreath. So you're going to get a nice spiral going round each time we lay it on top. So that's what the back looks like, that's what the front looks like. So each time we're placing it on top. No? What do you think? Should we put a bit of this in next? Bit of the pussy willow? This always reminds me of Easter, this does. When we obviously buy it in the shop, we buy it in long sticks rather than sprays. But I've literally just cut this off the tree. So laying that down next, wrapping it round and pull. So my wreath's going to end up looking quite crazy, but I want it to look natural and just, I don't want it to look too uniformed. So I'm going to go back with a bit of this, lay it on and wrap that around. So you're starting to see it's taking shape a little bit. I'm going to put a bit of blossom in now, I think. So just lay that on top, wrap it round. Obviously that's not going to last in here very long, but it's going to look really pretty for a couple of days. And when the flower dies, you can just snip it off so it doesn't, you don't have to pull it apart or anything like that. I'm going to put another one of these hydrangeas in, I think. Just working out how many I've got. So I've got 3 of these, so I kind of want them to look quite even around. So I might not put one of them in just yet. I'm going to put another bit of ivy in. do you think? Pretty? Is it pretty? She loves being outdoors. Yeah. We just bought a bird feeder to put outside because she loves looking at birds at the moment, which is really cute. She's just at that age where she's starting to really notice things about. Another bit of white. So these twigs bits I'm leaving so they all stick out. The ivy is quite bunched into the middle of the wire frame. I'm going to put another big bit of blossom in. It's so pretty. It's all of a sudden just come out in a couple of days, like the sun's been out and all of a sudden it's just bloomed. I'm walking through the woods as well, I can see the bluebells starting to bud. I love the bluebells, there's just something so magical about a bluebell wood. A bit of ivy in. So ivy is just great for making the base. Obviously ivy is everywhere and it just grows on walls like anything, but it's fantastic to use for filling things. I don't think I've appreciated how much nice stuff we can actually pick from the woods and from our gardens and things. I think I'm definitely going to think a lot more about using as much as I can from our garden, because we're so lucky we've got a beautiful garden. I'm going to put a bit of dogwood in it. So basically with this I'm just letting the sprigs come out. You can trim them up afterwards if you don't like them, when you put them on the door and you think, oh god, it's actually a bit big. You can take them off afterwards. You can chop things down but you can't make things bigger once they're on. Can we? Huh? What are you looking at? Yeah. Look. You could just leave it like that if you wanted to. I've seen a lot of wreaths now that just have bits on the, you know, at the side. But we're going to carry on going round if she allows me to. If you don't get too grumpy. Another bit of twig. So basically when I've picked this from the bank in the woods, the ivy I'm using as my base, and then I've just got loads of different twiggy bits, really, like the dogwood's red. This almost looks like olive, it's not olive, but that's what it looks like. So it's got quite like a light green leaf on it, and then this stuff's like got a purpley bit on the end, and it's just, we're so lucky to have all this on our doorstep. I mean, I'm picking this from, this is like from my garden and the woods at the back, which is private, but I mean, obviously I can't go to the woods and pick for commercial uses, but you know, out on your daily walk, or you know, there's loads of twigs on the ground that you can use even to make something. I mean, I've got loads of this twisted willow as well. This is growing, my dad's growing some of this down the nursery, which is used from offcuts from somebody else's garden, and it grows like mad, and so it's so easy to grow and so great for flower arranging. You can use that all year round. You can use it at Christmas time, so the spring. You can make Easter trees out of it, hang things on it. You can use it for Christmas decorations as well, and hang stuff on it. It's really nice. So it's quite full. My twigs are coming out madly to the side, which is fine. So it's not got a moss base on it, so there's no like moisture on it. So I'd say I suggest like spraying it maybe to keep it like moist, but obviously all these twigs aren't. It's not going to matter. It's just like I say, the blossom's not going to last. but you know, it will look nice for a few days. Nice to take a picture of. Oh dear, are you tired? Huh? Are you tired? So I've just kind of realised I haven't actually put any lavender in, but it's fine. I've got a lot of stuff here. With all this that I've got left over, I'll just put it in a jug and pop it in the kitchen window, as I'm not going to be able to see any flowers for a little while. Are we? It's getting up to snooze time. Any routine has gone straight out the window, as I'm sure everyone else's has. But I'm just thankful that we're okay and we're here and safe. I haven't put any conifer in either, but I did pick some forsythia actually as well. Might have looked quite nice in there. Might be able to put a conifer in. Conifer's quite good for filling as well. I learnt to do funeral sprays with conifer. We've got masses of it down the field, got massive conifer bushes. They act as like a bit of a windbreak down the field, so I was always going down there and picking stuff for college. Girl. You see it's making quite a nice shape at the moment, so each time I put it in, I'm putting it in at an angle so it sticks out. I'm not laying it flat, I'm not poking it in, it's going outwards. So you can see from the back of it, it's going like round in a spiral and it's sticking out. So we're making obviously the wreath bigger than the frame. Yeah. More of this. More dogwood. The dogwood's got a bit of green on the end as well. Some little shoots coming off. That is again looks quite nice at Christmas time. You can see it's trying to make a nice shape. I don't really have any shady bits around here, so I couldn't sit in the shade, but I'm not going to apologise for the sun. We're lucky it's out. Pussy willow in. You're getting bored, tired. I do think I'm quite lucky that she's not like 3 or 4 at the moment, because I imagine it's a nightmare trying to keep a toddler amused when you're stuck indoors. Oh dear. I'm very tired. Tired. So I put the last bit of ivy in. I'll just put one more bit of white in. Wrap that around. Pull into place. The last coat drink. measuring as well. It's always hard when you get to the end, just trying to fill in that gap. That's when things like ivy would be good, and the conifer. Try and pick out the leaves so you can wrap that wire around. That last bit of bit. Just poke a bit of dogwood underneath the wire. To finish off, just turn your wreath over. Snip either your wire or your string that you're using and just wrap it around that outer edge of that wire frame that you've got. If you're using a coat hanger, then wrap the wire back around itself just so it's secure. It needs to be tight. And that's my wreath, so I can hang on the door. So yeah, if you want to, if you don't have white blossom or the flowers, you can always make some paper flowers to put in onto it. Make some Easter eggs, little Easter eggs and paint. Obviously if you just leave it with greenery, it's going to last a lot longer. Like I say, this blossom won't last very long, so I'm going to keep spraying it as much as I can. And then obviously when them petals pick off, I just take off the white flowers, and then it'll just be a green wreath. So it should last, you know, a couple of weeks at least, depending on which greenery you use really. I mean, none of this is going to drop off or wilt. So yeah, so just remember to, if you're using string or wire, each time you put something on, wrap that wire and string around and pull it quite tightly so it's secure. You don't want things to fall out at the end of it, because we're not using moss. You don't have the security of the moss that's there. So I will go and hang that on my door, and I'll enjoy it. No one else will see it, but so I hope you enjoyed that. I'll try and do a few more, maybe some smaller things as well that don't take up as much time. So now I've got to work out how to try and upload this, and hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully everything will be back to normal as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.